Saturday morning cartoon panel.
Okay.
I'm Debi Derryberry, and this is
George Lowe,
George
the
Lowe,
youthful, vivacious, the always personable.
better
I was
known
talking
as
about you.
Space Ghost.
And better known as.
Jimmy Neutron.
Yay.
How many of you know who Jimmy Neutron is? Good. Haven't I met you before?
Yes.
Didn't I meet you yesterday? What's your name? Shane. And what's your guys' name? Did I meet you yesterday? What's your name? Liam and Owen. How old are you guys?
Are you guys married?
And Shane, how old are
Little
you?
joke I like to do with the kids.
You're 5. Okay, good. Good. You're right in my fan base. You guys fit right
How
in?
old are you?
22. Don't tell me why.
Just seemed like the thing to do.
And how many of you have ever seen George's cartoon?
One guy in the back.
I remember when it was originally on. I remember the original Ghost.
I used to get up and watch it every Saturday morning with my buddy Tom. He'd come over every week and we'd sit there with pretzels on the floor and cereal and we'd watch Gary Owens. Gary was the original from 64 to 66. Then we came in and polluted it in 93. 93 was our year of pre-production. We hit the air in 94. It's been a downhill slide ever since.
I mean, I remember all the old Space Ghosts, the old Herculoids,
Yeah,
the Space Adventure.
They got that way because they were lifting too much, the Herculoids. It's very painful. Internal and external Herculoids.
So do you guys watch, Liam and Owen and Shane, do you guys watch cartoons? A lot? What cartoons are your favorite cartoons? You don't know if you watch a lot of cartoons? How do you know about Jimmy Neutron, then?
I've seen it on television, just ordinary films like they're trying to get script just
Yeah.
and then by using to talk for it. And not because so it keeps them vacation on
Oh, right.
get them going home and then it turns out to be like sweets and stuff.
Oh, yeah, Owen, you have a question, huh?
Also, our next door neighbour, he's got this video of Jimmy Neutron called Pants Attack.
Oh, yeah, when pants attack.
That happened to me this morning when I was dressing.
You know, I thought he was being very clever, that writer, but then I pulled my son's book, The Sneetches on the Beaches, that Dr. Seuss book, and I was reminded of that story of the pants walking by themselves. Remember that? Now I know where they got that story.
What happens, remember kids, when you don't put your clothes in the hamper, your pants will pretty much walk out of there by themselves on their own steam. If you'll
Now, do you guys have any adults have any burning questions that you want to ask?
Then this is going to be a painful hour.
Okay.
That gentleman right there, Debbie. Please, sir, rise. Pretend we're at like an AP press thing.
No, I forget which company's doing it, but they're doing the origin of Space Ghosts,
Oh dear.
or dark and gritty origin of Space Ghosts. I didn't know if you had heard about that.
You know, here's the thing. You probably know everything going on in Jimmy's universe. I don't get the memos. I find out, I mean, I will be sitting at a show in Philadelphia and some kid will come up and go, you hear they're not gonna opt you for next year. And I'm like, no, they're not gonna re-sign me? How'd you find out? Well, the guy over at the cheese booth was talking about it.
As much as you guys make us feel like we're important, the producers consider us the end of the line, bottom of the barrel.
The meat. We're the meat of the stew,
We're
aren't
the
we?
last to know on everything. I get my fans to write me, and they told me that they were doing more Tenchi Muyos. Oh, nobody asked me. So I guess they're either using the Japanese Ryo-Oki for the new ones, or found somebody else who would do it cheaper.
What the heck is going on over here anyway? Are you having some blueberry?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Cereal.
Yes. I would like to say that I admire. I grew up on cartoons. When I was a youngster, and I mean I'm 46 right now. So I mean it's
We're the
like
same age.
yeah. So I mean I grew up on cartoons practically. My folks didn't appreciate it, but I mean I grew to be an animation freak. Now, granted, I will admit that I guess because of how much I grew up on the other cartoons and such, I'm not as much of a fan of Jimmy Neutron and such. But I will say I like some of the stuff of Jimmy Neutron because it doesn't seem to talk down to kids. And I have noticed that some of the cartoons do talk down to kids, and it's like,
Like
I,
which ones?
I don't know. It's just that I don't see them all that much anymore, especially since my TV doesn't have the good reception. I mean, they don't have good reception and such, and so I just basically read more books and leave the TV off nowadays. And so I mean,
reading. I'm sorry, you'll have to leave.
Bye.
She's a reader. Security.
But I mean,
Table six.
but I mean, I've always thought that some of the cartoons did talk down to them, and it's like, I really think that if they talk to kids like a regular person, that it helps. It helps. And I've always admired because I never figured I was talked down to any space ghost or Herculoids or everything. It's adventure.
We were too busy saving the universe to educate. You know, I had those rotten kids on board with me, Jan and Jace, and the monkey is filthy. I mean, if you've ever had a monkey inside a small vehicle, you know what I'm talking about. It's just, it's not pleasant. It's an odor that doesn't go away, no matter how much Ozium you spray. See, you didn't have monkeys, would you? You don't have monkeys on camera.
No.
And you're still on, you're on like every 5 minutes. Every time I go through the channel, there you are.
Yeah, they did what they call they scripted. That means they, like, commentary, it runs every day, many times, I guess, every day.
Which is awesome. Which is awesome. Me, I'm like, you know, once every other month at 3 a.m., you know, in a leap year, and every fan that comes
You know,
up.
cut ahead 20 years,
You would think.
it'll probably be the same for Jimmy Neutron.
No.
And hopefully we'll have new series by then. So Shane, do you know how we make cartoons? Do you want to know? Does anybody want to know how we make cartoons? Okay. Well, first, the writers write the show that we have nothing to do with the writing. And that's their job. And they're with the Writers Guild. And if you're lucky, your show gets really great cartoon writers. And there's 2 of the best teams in the world working on Jimmy Neutron and Fairly Odd Parents and SpongeBob and all the good cartoons that you love. So after the writing gets approved, which is many months because it has to go through lots of channels, then they do what's called storyboard. And storyboard looks like a really big fat comic book, and it tells the actors and the directors and the animators what's happening on each line. So when you read your script and it says, "Hey, Goddard, don't do that on the carpet," and you go, "Why is he saying that?" And then you look at the picture on the storyboard and you see Goddard's pooping screws and nuts and bolts onto the carpet, because that's what his poop is made up of, is aluminum that he eats, right? So when they send us a storyboard, we know what's going on in the script. So then at the very end, they call the actors in, and we all go into a big room, and we all have our scripts and stand in front of our microphones, and we have our scripts, and we be real quiet. And I never wear this necklace to record. Do you know why? Can you hear that? The microphone hears that really well. So I never wear this necklace to record. I also never wear squeaky shoes to record. And I never wear jingly earrings to record. Or that thing around your neck.
What about your lucky Velcro pants you were telling me?
My lucky Velcro pants would be a big no. And then we record the episode. And then it takes 6 months for them to color it and send it to Hong Kong or wherever they found the cheapest animators. And get it back.
We support
and put it on the
sweatshops.
air. So it might be a whole year from start to finish on a cartoon episode. Luckily for Jimmy Neutron, it's called computer generated. That's all done here in the United States in Texas. But a lot of the Warner Brothers and a lot of the stuff that's flat animation, like Fairly Odd Parents, or stuff that doesn't look like it's computer generated. You know what the difference between flat? Flat is like Bugs Bunny, and computer generated is like Jimmy Neutron. They look a little bit different.
Okay.
Well, they look a little different because one's made out, like Bug's Life might look different than, say, Bugs Bunny. I think it's the most famous flat cartoon. Anyway, so that's what I do. I go in and record for 4 hours, and my work is done.
And the difference between the way the professionals do it and the way we do it, We bring in a bunch of alcoholic reprobates
Would you
who write a
just,
script.
like,
No,
learn your language up?
I'm laying it on the line, you know, the kids, see, she said, don't talk down to the kids will leave, they'll go, what's an alcoholic reprobate? So we bring in these guys who brainstorm, much like your guys, we have very wonderful writers, actually, thorough nut jobs, but my favorite guy is Matt Harrigan, who used to write for Letterman, and Matt is just completely out there. He's as far, well, it's kind of like me. People say, how come you never did anything bad when you were in college? And I said, I was always afraid if I did what the other kids were doing that I wouldn't come back, you know, that I'd just be floating through space and that would be that. But our guys brainstorm it. We go in and ad-libbing is actually welcome, which is a whole other thing, because I know your guys will beat you over the head, right?
No, they don't.
You get to ad-lib too?
They want us to.
Well,
In fact,
see,
they put me in an isolation booth
so it's
that
not as regimented
me
as
and
that.
Carl can banter back and
Okay.
forth and overlap. Overlapping is when you talk at the same time that someone else is talking. And if the people drawing the cartoons are trying to listen to who's talking so they can draw the picture, like say Jimmy's going, ah! And Carl's going, I need my inhaler. They're talking at the same time. They're not going to know who's talking, but they have to figure it out. So they put me in one booth and Carl in another, and they could say, isolate those voices. What's Jimmy saying? Oh, he's saying, ah! What's Carl saying? I need my inhaler. So they can figure it out. But if we talk right on top of each other, then the animators don't know who to draw doing what. So yeah, we have isolation booths.
Now, unlike Debbie again, we do everything separately. They're afraid to put us together. They're
As
afraid,
well they
much
should
like
be.
certain chemicals, they're afraid of a toxic reaction occurring in the building. So Clay will go in and do Zorak by himself, Andy goes in and does Brack by himself, George goes in and does Space Ghost, and, you know, Lucky scraping him off the walls 2 hours later. But we keep everything separate that way, so much like you guys, when you have something they love, ad-lib wise, that they can use, it's clean, it's separate, it's isolated, they can put it right on without fear of somebody in the room doing one of these. Oh, that's
You
sweet.
hear how noisy that
Oh,
is? You can't wear starch on your shirts
see,
when you record.
it's a starch shirt, isn't it?
Yeah.
We should do a game show together. We should name that sound. And now, here's your host, Debi Derryberry.
Are you wearing those Velcro underwear again?
I'm wearing my lucky Velcro panties. Okay,
Once I
Debbie,
was doing
here's a
that.
toss-up question for 20. What's this sound?
Did your teeth fall out?
That's exactly right, Debbie.
Once I did a session with, the kids won't know who this is, but the adults might know, Carol Channing. And she was wearing a very noisy silk shirt. And they told her, Miss Channing, and you have to be very respectful of these older actors who have earned their place in the, you know, acting community. Miss Channing, your shirt, it's making a lot of noise. She took it off. Took it off. Recorded in her underclothes.
Luckily, when she did the Space Ghost show, Carol was not fortunately making any noises that caused her to undress on the set. We were able to use it all.
What was I going to tell you guys? Oh, it was right on the tip of my tongue. We don't drink coffee before we record, because it makes you get something called smacky. This is what smacky sounds like. The microphone hears that. Like if you're going, hey, Mom, and the engineer will say, Deb, can you take a drink of water or something? Because it makes you get snacky. The things that are good to eat if you're going to record are apples, salty food like chips, as long as you get all the little crumbs out of your mouth. Or if you really want to sound like you're tired, then you eat some cream cheese or milk. Because then it makes you sound kind of scratchy. You have to sound real tired. Or maybe you have to do a very old lady. Oh, Jimmy, do come over and visit us today. And it makes it easier to get that scratchy sound. And if you're gonna sound like a little girl, then I get a good night's sleep, and I try and do a little warm-up in the morning. Because little girls are a very clean sound. They don't have any scratching on them usually.
And if you eat a bucket of Heinz baked beans before you go in, that's good for.
Mhm.
Well, never mind. Shouldn't go into that.
Tricks.
Tricks of the trade. Oh,
And
yeah.
you know what the very most important thing is that we know how to do is read. We are very good readers.
Reading is the most important thing in the world.
Yeah, we really studied our reading in school. In fact, sometimes when I get the Jimmy Neutron scripts, I always look at them the night before I record, because Jimmy Neutron has big words to say that even I don't know. He has to know all. I mean, sometimes he'll say, there was one episode where he went back to some dinosaur period and had a whole lot of dinosaur names. Those are long names. Sometimes they're tough to figure out. Or chemicals, you know, hydro, electro, nuclear, bipolar, hydrostatic implements.
Wow.
And it's hard to say that if you don't train your tongue to say those words. You guys know any tongue twisters? Let's hear it.
Red lorry, yellow lorry.
Can you say that? Red lorry, yellow
Red lorry, yellow lorry.
Red lorry, yellow lorry.
That's tricky. Red
It's a
lorry,
good
yellow
one.
lorry. Red lorry, yellow lorry.
And
That's
if
the second one that
you
gets
practice it more, you can say it better. So are you a good reader? Not yet? You don't like reading. Well, you gotta like reading. Who wants to be a voice actor in here? One,
Go to
two,
med school.
three.
Go to med school. Go to med school. Sorry, it's always the first thing I tell them. Go to med school.
You know, I was a pre-med.
Were you pre-med?
I was a pre-med
I
at
studied a year
UCLA.
for MCAT. How smart are you?
I studied a year for MCAT. I took the MCATs.
You probably did very well. Math killed me. You
No.
still know your blood gases?
No, I did okay, but not good enough, and
Yeah.
I moved to Nashville to do country music instead. So I have a band called Honey Pig, shameless plug, and I'm selling my new CD. It's 3 girls, and we're all pigs. No.
Oh, that's not true.
No, it's not, but
That's
we
not
did,
true.
if you look closely in all of our pictures, there's either a jar of mayonnaise or a jar of peanut butter hidden somewhere in the picture. And they're all original 3-part harmony songs like Dixie Chicks and Andrews Sisters and Lyle Lovett. So please go buy your Honey Pig album today. The time slot's already there, the lip flaps are already done. As opposed to, like in the script, if it says, you know, Carl, I don't want to go to school today, or let's go to Retroland. You could say anything. Carl, let's go to Retroville. I don't feel like going to school today. But if it's anime, you don't have that much time. It's just,
We need another 3 seconds, Debbie.
yeah. You know,
Speed up, Debbie.
you can change the line around any way you want, and then the animators would have to draw it that way. So to get into kind of voice acting we do in LA, you would go to LA and get a SAG agent and take voice acting classes and try and get an agent. There's about 11 of them. Well, there's probably more like 100, but only 11 that get the work.
That are good ones. Yeah. 11 that are right.
And then audition against thousands of other people, hope you get called. Luckily, there's only about 20 of us that can really sound like little boys, so I don't have as much competition as someone who, you know, can do a 30-year-old woman really well. Because there's a lot of women who can talk like a woman, but not a lot of women who can talk like a boy.
Except for my Aunt Flo.
Right, I know, Flo, she's tough.
Flo. Sweetheart, go get that Flo that smokes.
Oh, and we don't do that either. We never smoke.
Smoking is bad for you.
Bad for your voice, bad for your heart, bad for everything, bad for your parents next to you. Who likes smoking?
Ooh.
Good
yucky.
job.
Yucky.
Good job. Shane, are you ever gonna smoke? That's my boy. Good. Owen and Liam, you guys smoke?
No, why?
No.
Good. It's not nasty, huh?
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Good job. Good job.
Don't try
Say
the
no to
marijuana
smoke.
in the brownies.
That's our public service message.
Does anybody want to watch Space Ghost?
Yeah, let me move aside and let's watch Space Ghost. And if you guys wanna come by my booth, I'm signing these pictures with all the characters that I do.
And thank you all for coming.
Yes, thank you. Just step back.
Yay. Now enjoy, Don, is this one of the ones that was jumped into Portuguese or something back in the 60s?
These are in English.
This is not me. You're about to see not me. This is Gary.
Gary Owens.
This is the original. This is why I got interested in cartoons.
Yeah, but Chase,